Good morning. I've been meaning to get my thoughts out sometimes when I've got them. This whole vlog thing is super cool, and we enjoy it. And for those of you who watched a little of it, the style is no style. Like it's as if we're recording, our life for our kids a little bit. And of course, there are not cameras going all the time. This is like a little bit here, a little bit there, just what we take in the course of our day. Sometimes it's quite possibly very bland, and other times, we have some pretty cool things going on, and we're grateful for all of it. But it's really just, there's no specific theme, and we try to be very, very real. And I shouldn't even say we try, because we just show what goes on at home, sometimes. And I promise you, that's a stretch for my wife, who has, runs a very meticulous household and cannot stand mess and chaos, and is always bringing order to our lives. We're so grateful for her and how well she does that, performs that duty. But today I kind of want to chat. It's just been on my heart about siblings and kids. And by no means, I submit everything I say very humbly. I am not perfect. We are not perfect parents. My kids are not perfect. But I'll just share some observations that I've had, both, kind of how my childhood affects my parenting, and observations of the world, etc. We came from, like so many of us, I don't even want to say the rat race, because we weren't really in the rat race, but we had a beautiful home in Nevada, 2 beautiful homes. Both of them had, a room for every child that we had at the time, and then some. We actually had a house about twice the size of the one we are currently in. Coming to the farm, we downsized. We are still so very blessed. None of this is a complaint or anything like that. Or we had more than we needed in some areas, and we had some real things we desired, hence we came to the farm. We had discussions about rooms because, the house we moved into was technically 4 bedrooms. We wanted to have a guest room. The boys were small. It was easy for them to share a room. We had a playroom in our first house, so we actually had we had this discussion, and my sisters and I shared a room when we were young. All 3 of us. Now, that was probably more out of necessity at the time for my family. But, I thought about it, and I thought, gosh, we're always complaining about this, selfish culture that we have allowed to kind of take over, this sort of pseudo narcissism of everybody's all about me. And I will bring this up all the time, but I oftentimes look at the Amish and how they operate in a communal family responsibility sense. Everybody's pulling weight, big, small, young, old. Everyone has a job or a way they can contribute from the time that they can walk. And as far as the kids go, I need them, especially on a farm, to be able to work together, to get along, and, to value those relationships, to teach each other, to set examples for each other, to be there for each other in the sense that they can observe each other, and look out for each other. And so, also I will also bring up the military or the fire service. Those are kind of, between the Amish, the fire service, and the military is a lot of my, life experience. when in the military, it's like you win as a team or you lose as a team. And, well, the military is also not perfect, not something to, hold as the entire standard by any means. It is a great thing when you have young kids or just children on a farm and a general common goal mission of being productive for the family, for the household, for the farm, overcoming challenges and problems on a daily basis, that you need to learn to work together, to support each other, to look out for each other, etc., etc. So we actually made the decision, you know what? For bonding, for all these reasons, we actually want our kids to live in one room together. Now, mind you, they were like not even 2 years old, 4 years old, and 6 years old at this point. Not a big deal at all. We did end up transitioning my daughter to her own room, around 9 years old or something like that. And but so much of what we had hoped for was accomplished during that time where they had to live together. And I just really would encourage people. In our culture, there's almost this element of like shame if you can't give every kid their own room. And I'll tell you what, like our boys, I'll keep them in their own room for a long time. Like I'm not, like I won't even say, I'm not going to say at a particular time, but like it wouldn't surprise me if they live in the same room together until they're grown, ready to move on to the next thing in their life. And it's so good for them. Accountability, getting along, working together, support, emotional support, the things that I've overheard, them comforting each other, caring for each other. It's so good. And of course, even having to work out their differences, their arguments, their frustrations with each other. That is one of the most important parts of life as a human, is it not? And how many people lack those social, emotional skills? And we have to remember, like, a lot of this is not just born into somebody. It is substantially affected by our experiences. And time again, when I'm questioning to go at a fork in the road as a father, do I do this? Do I do that? And oftentimes the world's desires, the seeds of the world's desires that are in my heart, like to give my kids all their own room, is actually not the answer. It's not the answer. And I know this is like a silly subject, but just think how you can apply it to other things in their life, in your life. It's not, I'm just using the one example, but it's not, humility for humility's sake either. It's intentional. It's actually, this experience is better for them, will create a better end result for them than this worldly concept or idea of essentially, the consumer material American, yada yada, which again, I'm all for. I don't care what people do, as you do you, you know what I mean? That's all good. No judgment. But I'm just, for those that would be encouraged by this, I just want to encourage you to not be afraid to make kind of contrary decisions. And so, we have an extra room. And yeah, it's great to have a guest room. Heck, we have a camper we use as a guest house. It's beautiful. But I'll keep my boys together. Now, there are obvious reasons to, kind of as daughter matures and, kind of move them, give her her own space. Of course. And we did that when we felt the time was right. But whether it's girls living in girls' rooms or boys living in boys' rooms as they get older, I just want to encourage you when you think, oh, they just don't get along. Oh no, that is irrelevant. Like, that is irrelevant. In fact, that's the reason you put them together, really and truly. And someone will say, no, you don't know my girls. No, I'll be very confrontational here. No, whatever happens, there is no good reason why your children should not be able to get along with each other. And I promise you, if they can't get along with their siblings, they're going to have trouble getting along with somebody else out in the workplace, out in church, out in school, out in the world, out in their own families that they have someday. So that's where it starts. That's where it starts, right there. So be encouraged by that the answer is right in front of you, and it's easier. There's less striving. You don't have to provide more. Sometimes providing just right is all you need, really and truly.